thank you for tuning in. Unless you're living in a cave, you know that a lot of heavy shit's going on right now. I want to start the show off by giving my sincerest condolences to Charlie Kirk's wife and his children. Regardless of what you think about Charlie Kirk, he does have a wife and children, and this is horrible for them. There's no other way to put that, because it is. And so I would like to sincerely give my condolences to them, and I want to start the show as usual by reiterating my position that most of you who followed me for a long time know already, but I do not condone violence as a way to solve your problems. It's caveman shit. Like, that's the problem. You know, like, this is the same when you were in high school and, like, you couldn't have a discussion with somebody. They just beat the shit out of you as a football player or whatever because he's too stupid to have a discussion. So he just kicks the shit out of you, you know. It's like, violence is not a way to solve your problems. Two, if you've not noticed by the reaction, it's not helpful. You know, everybody's looking for a bring us together moment, and it's not bringing together. It's even farther pushing apart. This country is broken. It's irreparably broken, if you ask me, because of Donald Trump. I said this when he first started. Is like, you can't have leaders that talk like this. It's if you want to have a functional society, you know, like I said, and regardless of what you feel about Charlie Kirk as a person, which we'll get to that later, is he has a family. He's a human being. You know, his children shouldn't have to grow up knowing that, you know, that there's videos all over the place of their father getting shot in the feet, you know, in the neck or whatever. And now they can't find this guy. He's still on the loose, apparently. The conspiracy theories are already flying. You know, like, I've already seen, Trump did it. Now I've seen Israel did it. I've seen it's a leftist person who did it. You know, like, no one knows who did it or why. And this jumping to conclusions that we do nowadays without the evidence is not helpful. You know, it's they tried to do it themselves. That's why they arrested two of the wrong people. The guy tells him, "We got the shooter in the custody," and then he's like, an hour later, has to be like, "Well, we released him because he's not the guy." It's like, well, then don't be saying he's the guy. You know, this is not the internet. You know, he's putting the shit out on X. That's the other thing you got to understand is this FBI now is very incompetent. I mean, they're still competent enough to do shit, but the leadership is incompetent. So, therefore, the investigations are going to be not as good. And plus, there's hundreds of FBI agents who are scrubbing Epstein files and picking up trash in Washington, D.C. And that's why these things are happening, you know. It used to be the FBI would be, you'd see on TV, oh, the FBI stopped a plot. You know, like, when's the last time you seen that? All the plots I've seen that have been stopped by local authorities, not the FBI. Now, I could be wrong, but I don't think so because I scour the news all the time. And that's another thing. If you're going to try to troll my page, at least come with something to say. You know, it's another thing if you follow me for years, you know I don't like to block people. So I let people talk, you know, because that's what it's supposed to be about, right? But if you ain't got nothing to say, if all you're doing is the circle jerk fucking fascist gaslighting, you know, thing where they just talk in circles, and they never really say anything, don't have anything to bring to the table, I'm going to just block you, because I ain't got time for it anymore. I just don't. Now, I wanted to say, again, that it's a tragedy when anyone gets killed, and no one should get killed. There shouldn't be violence. It's wrong on any side. If anyone does it, it's wrong. Like, no one wins in a war. I mean, if that's what you want to make it. That's why I said before, like, we should just have a secession, not have a war, because no one's going to win a war. And a bunch of people are going to get killed unnecessarily. If we're going to do this, let's just split the country in two. Peacefully. So you can have your peace and do what you want, and we'll do ours. But there is going to be no great reckoning where we all come back together. Like, it's not going to happen. The brainwash machine is too strong, which we're going to talk about right now. Like I said, it's terrible that Charlie Kirk got killed, and violence is not cool by any means. But to be like, because he got killed now, we can't examine the reasons why this might have happened and how he might have been involved in his own demise somehow. You know, and people go, oh, you can't do that. You know, well, why not? I said, I posted it yesterday. He didn't build the brainwash machine, but he's a big part of it. And he said horrible, vile things for years and years and years. He attacks. He's a racist. He's a misogynist. He's a white supremacist. He's a xenophobic. The problem is this. We've normalized this. This is called conservatism now. We're like, conservatism, I've said a long time ago. Conservatism used to be like, they would say, you know, I want smaller taxes and states' rights and my gun, you know, I want my gun. And like, that was conservatism. Now it's cultural conservatives who run the show. You notice they never talk about real issues, like social issues or how to solve anything. They just talk about grievances they have with society and how that locking people up is going to solve all these problems, you know. And we've already tried that. It doesn't work. Charlie Kirk literally said on his show that we didn't have enough people in prison in the United States. And we already have more people in prison than any country in the world. And that's not enough for him. Now, again, should he be killed for thinking that? No. He should not. But these people are stuck on these ideas that don't work. First of all, why do we have all those people in prison? Well, if you know anything about the history of this country, there was a war on drugs, they called it, and mandatory minimum sentences and all that shit. And that filled up the prisons with drug offenders. And violent criminals were being let out because they had to make room for the mandatory minimum sentences. It was... And then they go, why is all these violent people getting out of prison? It's your fucking policies. Everybody keeps telling you it's fucking stupid, but you don't listen. You know, like... and their solution is, well, we'll just build more prisons and lock up more people. It's like, why don't you let the people out that shouldn't be in the prison? How about that? A comprehensive reform of, you know, or what do you call it? Review of who all's in prison and what are they in there for? How long they've been in there, and should they really be in there? Like, they've already got rid of mandatory minimum sentences, so anyone who is in prison on a mandatory minimum sentence, if there are any left, should get their case examined, right? And maybe get released so that they can keep a violent person. Now, here's what they do. I was talking about the Ukrainian girl the other day. And the more I've looked into it, like, this is what they do. They create a false narrative. They say, oh, this guy got arrested 5 times and they let him out of jail, you know, but they never say what he got arrested for. And when you start looking at it, it's like, oh, he got arrested for misusing the 911 system or something like that. It's like, well, you can't just put a guy in prison because he did that, you know. And then the other thing was like, some kind of noise complaint. I don't know. It was all little tiny bullshit that if you get arrested for, usually you go to jail overnight or whatever, and they let you out in the next day, right? But they make it sound like all these liberal judges have just let this guy, and it's like that's not the case at all. But they lie. They have no shame about lying about anything. So what they do is they take something, and like I said, there's always a kernel of truth to what they said. Was the man arrested 5 times? Yes. Yes, he was. But was it for violent things? No. No, it wasn't. Right? But that's not the narrative if you look at their machine. They're like, the liberal judges, they let this guy out on the cashless bail and blah, 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 blah. It's like, but they don't say what for. He's like, oh, for making a prank phone call, or something crazy, And the man was mentally ill, and everyone knew it. No one got him any help, until the voices in his head got so bad that he thought that this woman was reading his mind, and he stabbed her. And then if you're online, there's all these false quotes. I've never heard anybody in any story that covered that story say that he said something like, oh, I got that white girl or something, but if you go online, they're saying that like it's a fact, they're like, oh, he said he got the white girl, because they lie. And Charlie Kirk was a big part of that operation, big part of that machine, who, remember he said, oh, I want to know about the Epstein files, and then he talked to Trump, and then he was like, well, I'm going to trust my friends in the government, the ones that are on the list. The one that Ghislaine Maxwell said people in your administration were involved in this. And he changed the subject real fast. He didn't want to talk about it, but she said that. Kirk's like, oh, I'm going to trust them to go out to the transparency themselves, It's like, that's what I'm saying is, no matter what they say, these people are not, they're disingenuous people. All of them. They're fanatics who will do anything to advance their cause. That's what you have to understand about these people. There is going to be no coming back to Jesus moment where they wake up and realize that they're under some kind of trance. These people, a lot of them want this. It's like Danielle, he was on the other day, he was talking about the lead, in Italy when he was growing up, where there was all this political violence going on in the streets. And left and right, and there were bombs and all kinds of shit. And what I found fascinating about it was what just happened. Well, what I find fascinating about it was that, hold on, something happened. After Mussolini, they were still fascists. There were still fascists in Italy who wanted fascism, even after that happened. I don't know what's going on. No, this all came back now. So for some reason, Restream kicked me off. Anyway, this tells you that these people are not going away. They went through Mussolini. He drugged them into World War II, allied himself with Adolf Hitler. They rebelled, drug him through the streets, and hung him off a bridge, and then tried to become more democratic. And yet there was still fascists in Italy that wanted fascism to come back. Because, like I said, these people are fanatics. And Charlie Kirk, he wanted to indoctrinate young people. And everybody says, oh, it's admirable what he was doing. He's trying to reach people that he disagrees with and talk. It's like, that's true. But the things that he would say are vile things. That's what I mean. Is the real problem that nobody wants to talk about is that we've normalized these racist, misogynist ideas as just conservatism. Now, you can go on CNN, you can say all this shit, and everybody says, "Oh, he's a good guy. He's a good Christian." Like, is he a good guy and a good Christian? He just said that they said you can go on his Twitter feed right now and just read the things that he was saying a day ago or 2 days ago about black people on his Twitter feed. And you're like, this guy's a racist. But that's okay, and he's allowed to be, they're eulogizing him on every major outlet, media outlet. They're like, oh, this guy was doing politics the right way. It's like, that's the problem, is we let the politics themselves become poison. That's not politics. Racist, xenophobic, misogynist, he literally said that Taylor Swift is married Travis Kelce, that she should just shut up now and listen to Travis because she ain't in charge. He said this. Now, again, I want to reiterate, I don't believe the man should have been killed for any of these thoughts. And it's not really, he's not the one, right, who created the environment that we live in. He just capitalized on it. And being a professional troll on the internet and a provocateur is dangerous. This is not the first time this has happened. White supremacists in the 90s, I can't remember the year that it happened. There was a man named Alan Berg. He was a left-wing talk show host. He was a Jewish guy. And basically, he trolled the white supremacists out west. He died in 1984. So this is 1984. White supremacists ambushed him outside of the radio station and killed him. And I saw a documentary about it, and they interviewed the white supremacist in jail, and he said something about, was it worth it that you killed this guy because you didn't like what he was saying or whatever. And the white supremacist, I swear to God, I'll never forget it, he said, well, he ain't running his mouth through that 500,000 watt tower no more, is he? And that's when you realize the kind of people that you're dealing with here. These are fanatics, some of which are so fanatical that they will sacrifice themselves for the cause, And make no mistake about it. These people, which I've been saying for a long time, these are white supremacists, Christian nationalists, whatever you want to call them. There's, multitude of labels that you can, like I said, Christian nationalists, white supremacists. But when they say their idea of America, or when they say, like his tent said, American come back, you're like, what do you think that means? It means white people are going to rule again. That's what that means. And they're going to impose their Christian values onto you. Whatever that means, Because they're convinced that that's the way, the best way, which I don't know. That's what I mean. Like, you ever notice that a lot of right-wing ideology is about controlling other people's behaviors? It's not really, it doesn't really have anything positive to offer. It hides behind the illusion of it, like it'll give you safety and, and strength. But it's like, these people are not really strong. And they're not really keeping you safe because they're fucking stupid. We're not any safer. The world is falling apart. I don't know if you've noticed this. The country's rapidly falling apart too, but the world itself too is falling apart because there's no longer any leadership. The other countries have been used to American presidents controlling everything and telling them what to do for the most part. I mean, that's what it seems like to me. That now that there isn't nobody to could tell them what to do and maintain order, all these other countries are like, "What the fuck is going on?" Germany was like, "We need to fucking build more army." It's like, yes, because you can't trust this guy to do anything. It's to blow up a boat full of refugees off the coast of Venezuela for a reality TV show clip, so so he could pretend to be tough. But when it comes to like real world affairs, this guy don't have a clue what's going on. Oh, Putin respects me. He respects him so much. He fucking invaded Polish airspace the other night. Yes, Julia, it does. How are we gonna fight World War III when we're fighting each other here? That's what I'm saying. Is that Trumpism, the brand of politics, is just divisive, and it's designed to divide the population so that a minority can take control, which is what they did. If this is a functioning democracy, these people wouldn't exist. That's why they have to gerrymander and cheat all it out wherever they can, because even though they can win an election here and there, it's like they ain't no sustainability, because when they get in, they do all these dumb shit and people don't like it and they vote them out. But yet we keep swinging back and forth because there's only two choices. The Democrats haven't come up with the miracle system that fix all the problems, you know. Because the truth is, there is no miracle system to fix all your problems. People like Charlie Kirk would sell you that idea, are just lying to you. Human beings are awful. Look at us. Look what we're doing now to ourselves. You think there's hope for you? I know I'm always like the most pessimistic son of a bitch as I'm getting older. It's just like, there ain't no hope for us. Look at us. Look, I said, look at what we're doing to each other. This is 9/11. You would think that people would be together. I remember 9/11 when it happened. Vividly, I'll never forget it. People always say, where were we? That's what they were doing at work today. Where were you at 9/11? You know, it's like, I was at my girlfriend at the time had some friends and they had a party the night before. And we got drunk at their party and we crashed out at their house. They had an extra bedroom. And we were sleeping in the morning and they had forgot, I guess, to turn off their clock radio. And the clock radio was on AM radio. So the radio just came on in the morning. And I was half asleep and half drunk. And I'm like, ah. And they was talking about the World Trade Center on fire. And, you know, I'm a news junkie, so that piqued me up real quick. I was like, what? And then I thought, is this the anniversary of the time, you know, when Ramzi Youssef tried to blow up the World Trade Center, and they're like playing some kind of old newsreel, you know, you have like they do sometimes when they talk about something. They go, this is what happened that, you know, on that day. But no, then I heard him say a plane has crashed into the World Trade Center, and so I jumped up and I ran out to their living room and I found it. Their remote control, and I turned on the TV just in time to see the second plane come. And I watched it live hit the second tower. Because I'm a news junkie, I knew right away what was happening. I even knew who did it. I could have called the government. You know this is Osama bin Laden, right? I remember, but my aunt was messaging me once I got home in the afternoon. My aunt was messaging me on private message, which she would never do. She was because anybody in my family or anybody that knows me knows that I'm a news junkie. So if they want to know about something, they come and ask me. You know. So she was like, "What's going on?" I said, I said, it's a terrorist attack. It's Osama bin Laden. And she was like, what's a bin Laden? It's like, because this is what you're dealing with in America. Most people don't know. Most people aren't intellectually curious in this country. And they don't seek out information. That's when when a guy like Charlie Kirk pops up, he feeds you everything you want to hear, you know. And people go, oh yeah, I like that, you know. It's just, I don't have to think. This guy tells me what to think. Like, when you watch this show, I don't want you to... I always wanted this show to be like a debate. Like, if you got something to say it on the comment and then we'll talk. You know, it's like, I'm not here trying to tell you how to think about shit. I'm just here giving my take about what's happening in the world. You know, like, I'm not here to convince you of anything. I'm not here to tell you how you should live. You know, that's no one should be doing that. No, the whole purpose of Turning Point USA was to brainwash young kids into conservative thinking, which I don't mind conservative thinking. It's the racism and the other shit that I don't like. You can advocate for tax cuts for the rich and trickle-down economics all you fucking want. You know, I think it's stupid, but, you know, hey, that's fine. But, like, when you're like, oh, I don't like them black people, this is because I'm a conservative. It means no, you're a racist. It's like, how about, like, have you ever heard any of them for one time, like, have any ideas of how they could solve, you know, the systematic problems in the black community? No, they just demonize and attack them. These people don't have any real ideas. That's the point. You don't hear them talking about, and they always say, this is about policy. What's the policy? To ship out all the brown people. It's like, that's not really a policy. We're going to round them up and put them in the camp and then ship them off. It's like, what does that do for society? No one has ideas to make society better. That's the thing. It's just like now. Like, we're living through this slow descent into a dystopian fucking mad world, right? But we still have to get up and fucking go to work and pretend like everything is normal. And you know, half the people at your work are part of the fucking, you know, there are half the people that, oh, it's so sad about Charlie, which it is sad. Like I said, it is sad. But that doesn't make Charlie Kirk a good person all of a sudden. They go, oh, he was a good guy. Really? Listen to the things he said. He's not really a good guy. Now, did he go home and beat his wife and kids? No. Does that make him a good guy? I mean, he's still a racist, right? Still a misogynist. Still a guy that thinks that he should be able to tell his wife what the fuck she can do and not. And apparently, she's okay with that because she married him. What's up, Dan? You know, these women that are married to these guys, I don't understand that either. You know, it's like, I mean, I guess that's what I mean. These women are raised up in these churches where they're taught to be subservient, I guess. And so they think that's the way it should be. And maybe it is. But, and again, I don't go to their house and tell them how to live. The difference between me and Charlie Kirk is I'm talking and I say, if you're a Christian and you have a wife and she's cool with obeying you and all that shit, I mean, that who am I to fucking tell you how to live? You know? Charlie Kirk's like, everybody needs to be like this. These women are too uppity and the women need to know their place. And you're like, who are you to tell people that? That's what I mean. It's like he's trying to control the way you think about things. He's trying to change the culture into something that, you know, whatever they want. And, you know, I don't even know what that is. I do think that we are way past the point of, like I said, we should be having a discussion about what we're going to do about this country, because having a civil war seems pointless. But I ain't gonna lie to you. Yesterday, after what happened yesterday, and then seeing all the things that were online, and seeing what people were saying and seeing what they were saying on Fox News and all that other shit, I started thinking today, I think I have to start carrying my gun around. Like, I don't really want to. I got guns, and like, what's the point of having it if I'm outside and some shit pops off and the guns are at home? You know, here you can legally carry. So now I'm going to be carrying. I don't want to be doing this. But at the same time, how do I know these people aren't going to try to kill me? There's a list today, right? They're like, this is how irrational these people are, right? The guy says, "Oh, they killed Charlie Kirk for his speech, for what he was just for talking." No, it's not, Dan. It's not just political on this point. People are getting killed. That guy killed the Minnesota congressperson. See, you don't really know about that because Trump didn't say nothing about it. Trump didn't fly his flags at half-mast for her. He only does it for his friends, you know. It's so fucking. But anyway, what if, like I said, how do I, this is the point I was trying to make. This is how self-unaware they are, right? The guy says, "Oh, they killed Charlie Kirk for his speech. It's fucked up." You know, they all he did was talk. They didn't like his ideas, and they killed him. And then they're like, here's a website called CatchTheMurderer or Charlie'sMurderers.com or something. They're like, do you know somebody that says things you don't like? He's like, give us their name and we'll put them on this list. It's like, here's a list of they killed Charlie for his speech, so here's a list of people who say things I don't like, which is completely targeting them for, you know, random violence. Don't you think? What's the point of compiling a list of people? It's like, here's the people you should go after, you know. Me and Danielle were like, "Oh, it'll probably pop up on this list." It's like, and now I gotta carry a gun around. Like I said, I don't want to. How do I know that these fuckers aren't gonna try to kill me? They're fucking crazy. Have you ever talked to them? I don't know if you know. They're a little high strung. And like I said, I'm in that dungeon. I got to get out of that dungeon. I can't bring myself to leave it, but it's like a drug. Like I haven't done it. I haven't surrounded myself with all this fucking heinous evil for a while now. Someone put me in this fucking dungeon, and now I'm like, it's like a drug. I'm like, oh, I'm having. I get to tell them to fuck off, you know. It's like, I need to just leave it because it's making my blood pressure go up again, you know. It's like, but anyway, they're all like, of course they're all like, "Well, this is it. This is the moment we've been waiting for." You know, anonymous member 513 is like, "Yes, this is where we should kill everybody." It's like, dude, you such a coward. You're posting anonymously. You're talking about you're gonna do something. Anonymous number 427 was like talking about like, would I kill him or something? I was like, well, how do I even know who you are? You got a socket count. It literally says anonymous number 421 or whatever. It's like, no one knows who you are, dude, because you're a coward. And you're talking all this shit behind your fucking keyboard. It's like, come on, man. At least I said, I put myself out there. I tell you what, I tell you who I am. I tell you, you know. People go, "Oh, you use an alias." It's like, no, if you go, well, the name of the page is an alias because I got banned for life. But if you go on the page and you look, it says right there, the home of comedian Bruce Leonard. It's like, I'm not hiding who I am. When I tell him to fuck off, I do it as me. I mean, it's not anonymous member 427. I've never even seen that. This is the first group I've seen where they have that. They have anonymous member. And of course, they're the ones with the biggest mouths. They're talking all this shit. It's like, dude, you're fucking... yourself just pussy. You won't even put your name on it. You're telling me you're gonna fight a war. It's dark, this whole thing, so I gotta laugh. I'm sorry, I gotta laugh about it. Because my mom was like, why are you laughing? It's like, because it's like going insane. It's like, what, do you see what's happening? It's unraveling all around you. It's like, well, either you're gonna go with the flow and become a hateful fucking prick like all these people, or you just laugh about it, how fucking stupid it is, because it's fucking dumb. And like I said, 9/11, I remember 9/11, everybody was nice to each other for about 2 weeks. Remember that? It was wonderful. It was the best 2 weeks ever in America, I think. Everybody was so nice to each other. I remember towards the end of the second week, I worked in a bookstore in the mall. And at the time, my girlfriend was the manager. But this woman started bitching about something at the cash register. And I just looked up and was like, well, I guess it's over. The next day, everybody started being a prick again. And people started, bitching about who was in line first and who wasn't. Just the day before, everybody was like, no, you go. No, you go. Everybody was so nice. I said it lasted about 2 weeks. We went right back to normal. Everybody's hateful fucking jerk-offs. And yes, Dan, the conspiracies popping up are crazy. Like I told you, I already saw Israel did it. Because apparently Netanyahu tweeted something out like 5 minutes after Charlie Kirk got shot. And people were like, it's midnight in Israel. And, they're fighting a war with 7 countries right now. Like, yeah, it's time to do that. The Mossad did it, You're like, what the fuck? And then it was like, I saw today, there's 2 guys with sunglasses in the crowd, and then there's a guy who kind of looks like the Secret Service agent who was at Trump's thing, and they're like, have you seen this guy before? But it's like, it's like, you can't tell it's him. It's just another guy with this same generic fucking, wannabe cop look. It's like, they're like, this is the same guy. It's like Trump did it. They're like, what? Now, that could be true, but you know what we're not talking about right now? The Epstein files. Coincidence? I'm not sure. I'm not going to say that. I mean, Trump just promised to go after it. Didn't you see that yesterday? He was like, the left wingers and all the people that fucking propagate it, whatever. Just like, I was thinking to myself, they got to come get me. I don't have a big enough following for them to come and get me, I guess. But I would definitely be one of the people on the list, that the people that they would like, But I want to be that. That's the point of freedom, right? I'm going to flex the freedom all the way to the end. Till they literally do come and get me. Shut this down. I'm going to keep talking. Yes. Julia says she's scaling back her Facebook consumption to a bare minimum for a little while. My mental health is taking a hit. This escalation has me afraid every day. It's making me physically ill. Yes. So I said, it made me go, man, I better carry a gun. And I said, do I want to carry a gun? No. I've never been that guy. I gotta be a gun. So this guy said something about killing. I was like, I don't have to kill you, bro. I just kick your fucking ass. I don't need. I'm old school. Does that mean fist fighting? Probably not. I don't care. I'll club him or something. I don't know. But I don't need to shoot him with a gun. In my time, people didn't have a gun. Everybody didn't have a gun. If you had a gun, you were a real gangster. Like back in the day, people just fought. People kicked someone's ass or whatever. That was it. It wasn't like, oh, I'll kill you. It's like now, it's like they fucking just whip a gun out. I'll kill you. I told you the guy pulled a gun out on me outside my own bar. Like, are you fucking kidding me, man? It's like, I was like, seriously? That's the other part of it. Remember when they said, oh, if you let everybody have a gun, all this crime will stop. And so they made carrying guns around here. It's totally legal. You don't even need a permit. I can carry my gun anywhere I want. It's totally legal. Concealed, everything. It's called constitutional carry. That's what they call it. But anyway, crime hasn't stopped. They're all in the news. All the crime is out of control. It's like, I thought these guns were going to stop the crime. It's another right-wing fallacy. They live in a fantasy that they think they can control. The way to control things, you want to eliminate crime, or you can. Here's the secret that people don't want to talk about either. Is you're never going to eliminate crime, because some people are just bad. They're going to do bad things, okay? But you can reduce crime. How can you reduce crime? By feeding hungry people, by making sure people have housing and they're kind of taken care of. Then they don't feel the need to go out and steal shit to try to eat. It's like you reduce crime by helping people, not by attacking them or like cracking down on them with the police state, the National Guard. Like, sure, crime is down when the National Guard is walking around the street. Because the criminals are sitting around going, well, it's National Guard right there. I can't do it. As soon as he removes the National Guard, the crime will come back. He hasn't solved the problem. Unless his aim is to just keep them there forever. And $1 million a day. And at this point, there's not even too much crime. They're picking up trash, and shit. It's the cleanest city you ever seen. It's like, it better be for $1 million a day. These ideas they have, they don't solve anything. That's the point. I remember when Billy Cunningham, this asshole on the radio here, who's always fucking, spouting off right-wing shit. And I remember back in the day, his solution was just round them all up that way and over the Rhine. This before they gentrified over the Rhine. It was like the heart of downtown, and it was terrible. And it was crime and prostitution and all kinds of shit. And it was the ghetto. But it was in the middle of the city. So right outside of the real downtown where people hang out, So if you went down Vine Street a little too far, you were like, hey, wait a minute. That's how it is in Vegas, too. If you wander up the strip like 2 blocks, you're into Beirut. I'm not kidding. It happens all the time when you work as security, the Formula One thing. To French tourists and French tourists, they just take a turn off the strip and they're walking down the street, and now there's like mentally ill homeless people harassing them and shit, and we have to go up there help them out. That's how it is. Anyway, his solution was round them all up on the bus and just bus them out of town. It's like, well, where are you going to put them? You're not solving the problem, you're just moving it. It's like, they don't ever have any ideas about actually solve some shit. When's the last time a conservative did anything besides build more prisons and cut rich people's taxes? I'll wait. Don't all chime in at once. Because there isn't any. Crazy. They don't have any ideas, that's what I'm saying. And if you look at the economic data, Republicans always crash the economy. And the Democrats come in and fix it. But then Somehow they managed to convince people that, hey, they fucked it all up. And they get back in power. It's like, I don't know how this happens, but. I want to come back around to, like I said, to make sure that I reiterate the point that I do not take any pleasure in the fact that Charlie Kirk is dead. I do not celebrate it. I do not condone it. I feel bad for his family. But, like I said, being a provocateur is a dangerous job. Apparently, you never watched the movie Talk Radio, because that's what it's about, the Alan Berg thing. But it's the same thing. It's, you can't make a living provocateering and saying, throwing gas around, and then be surprised if your house catches on fire. He made a lot of money saying this shit. And again, is that justification? It is not. It is not. But it's unrealistic to step away from the situation and be like, oh yeah, what he was doing had nothing to do with it. It's like, it kind of did. We've normalized these, I'll say it, perverted ideas, and have said that this is politics. Racism, xenophobia, sexism. These aren't politics. These are exactly what they sound like. Bigots. Racists. That's it, misogynists. People who don't really mind, treating women like garbage because they don't believe that they're first-class citizens. They're chauvinists as well. I mean, there's lots of different metaphors you can throw on them, but that's what these people are. And we act like, oh, that's just normal politics. It's like, it's not politics. Let's talk about your plan for like a healthcare or how you're going to fix the bridges and roads that are falling apart in this country. How you're going to make sure that people get educated, and how you make sure that poor children get fed properly. And they don't want to talk about any of this stuff. To them, they're all leeches, and that's the thing that's funny, is at the one side of their mouth they say people need to have all these kids, and then on the other side of their mouth they say these kids are all leeches and we got to cut these programs. It doesn't make any sense. There's no logic in it, because most of conservatism, especially nowadays, is feelings. Feelings over facts, feelings over truth. It's what makes them feel good. These people say, the left are inhuman animals. It's like, aren't you the people that built the alligator Alcatraz? Who drove down there to take pictures at the fucking sign and like wear t-shirts and hats that say alligator Alcatraz, and you laugh while people are shipped off to black hole prisons in third world countries and you're telling other people that they're heartless? Are you kidding me? The sheer size of the balls it takes them to gaslight so hard about every single thing is amazing to me. It should be some kind of trophy, like a big set of golden balls, and just put that in the Oval Office. The fact that you stand here and tell me that that's not your signature on that fucking note from 2003 in the birthday book, and if someone forged that in 2003 and put it in there, that takes huge balls. It's like just a fucking. It's like literally standing like a 5-year-old with the frosting all over his face, going, "I didn't eat the cake. The frosting's on your face. It wasn't me." You're going the Shaggy defense. He's like, "Did you sign this letter, sir?" "It wasn't me." It's like, dude, we have 55 examples of this signature right here on other letters he's written to other people. It wasn't me. That's like, President Shaggy has spoken. It's like, Wasn't me. It's a hoax. It's a witch hunt. It's like, he's all back to that again. It's a hoax. Everything's a hoax. It's a hoax. I find it odd, like I said, how everyone's jumping to conclusions to try to decide, with no evidence whatsoever, who this person was and why they did this. I was surprised because usually somebody who does something like that, once they did it for a reason and they want you to know. Like Luigi Mangione, like he knew he was going to get caught. And when he did, he was like, this is why I did it, Timothy McVeigh was like, this is why I did it, like people usually, someone that does something like that, there's a reason, and if it is politically motivated, you would think that they would have a press release, or like, I was waiting for a YouTube video to pop up, like where he tells why he did it, But until then, no one knows why. And no one knows who he is. He could be a leftist for sure. He could also be, like I said, a QAnon mega person who's obsessed with the Epstein files and was mad when Charlie Kirk decided that he wasn't going to pursue it anymore. Could also be some Israeli person who didn't like what Charlie Kirk said about Israel, or something. And he was like, Charlie Kirk said so many things. You can't just pin it down to like, oh, it's this. It's like you don't know until this person tells you why they did it. You don't know who they are. I saw that they were trying to say, there was a story, they were like, oh, of course they were like, oh, they had transgender and Antifa thing carved in the bullet, and I'm like, and then their Ebbett kept saying, well, no one's confirmed this, and then later on they just stopped talking about it, and I'm like, but why would you put that in there? Why would you? Yeah, Russia. It's not above Vladimir Putin to do something like that, I would imagine. He's like, the FBI, their FBI is stupid. Like, this is the time to move. Like, and that's the thing, that is true. If you wanted to, well, maybe sending a message, Dan, but also maybe they just want to start a civil war here. What's the best way to start a civil war? Is to kill somebody who's powerful on the other or one side or the other, who will rile them up, And it's done the effective. That's why I always say that the violence, if it was a left-wing person, it's not helpful what you did. You didn't help the cause. You just poured more gas on the fire. That's what I'm saying. So division. Exactly. It's, like I said, if you thought you helped, you didn't help. Killing the guy is not helpful. Making a martyr out of somebody is not helpful. And that's the thing. That's what I mean is, Charlie Kirk is being like eulogized on all these networks, like the things that he said are normal, acceptable political discourse. And my contention is that it shouldn't be, because it has nothing to do with politics or governance. It's all cultural grievances. Cultural grievances shouldn't be politics, but for some reason we've decided in this country that that's what it is, and that being a racist piece of shit and a woman-hating misogynist is okay. It's just normal political. He's a conservative. It's like no, he's an asshole. Being an asshole is not a political fucking stance or a philosophy. You're a dick. And a white supremacist. But if you say that, people go, oh, you're going out, taking it out of control. Like, well, why don't you walking around with torches and talking about Jews won't replace you. And that's the other part of it. Like I still can't figure out their relationship with, like, they don't like the Jews, but they're in cahoots with Israel. That makes no sense. That's what I mean about the right wing. Like, do you hate the Jews or do you love them? Like, you do anything for Israel, but then you march around. Jews won't replace us. It's like, well, you're fucking helping them. It's like, it doesn't make any sense. I've never figured that part out. Someone can help me out with that. Like, do you know the reason why they hate Jews but they love Israel? It's a conundrum. I guess it's the Bible. Like, puts them in the conundrum. It's like, well, we don't like the Jews, but God, they're God's chosen people. So if we want to get to heaven, I guess we got to help them. It's like, it doesn't make any sense. It's not logical, but nothing they do is logical. That's the part of it. It's like a mental illness. Like they just keep doing the same shit over and over and over and over, and it never works. We've had this discussion before. Like, name a fascist regime that has lasted, besides North Korea. I mean, people say China, but China has gone through lots of different iterations and changes. It's not the same, as Chairman Mao's China. It's different. It's more capitalist and a little bit more free. It's not as free, but it's a little bit more freer than then, I would think. Then they just take you to a ditch and shoot you in the back of the head. It's like that. You know what I find funny too? I don't know if you saw that story about the North Korean thing. Where they said in 2019, when Trump was president, they tried to plant a listening device in North Korean soil. So they sent SEAL Team 6 or whatever. So they secretly submarined up the North Korean coast. Then they all came out in little mini submarines and went to the shore. And went on shore. But while they were going onto the beach, they saw his boat with lights. And they thought, oh no, we're caught. And they fucking rode out there and killed everybody in the boat. And they never got the listening device placed. They just went away. Right? They killed those people and left. Turned out those people were just fishermen. And they were an incursion onto a foreign country's soil. A covert operation. And no one says anything about it. It just went by the wayside, like, because there's so much fucking bullshit in this administration. They were like, yeah, well, whatever. See, Julia says, the only thing I can think of is that the Jews are a means to an end based on biblical prophecy. That's what I said. The Bible is the only thing, it's the only explanation. How could they hate Jews but yet love Israel at the same time? It's an oxymoron. Doesn't make any sense. Nothing makes any sense these days. So what's the difference? That's why I wrote the thing yesterday. It was just one line. It wasn't even a haiku. Just one line. It's like, what is truth when the whole world's a lie? Like, it's like the whole world has become. You can't trust anything. Everything's a lie. So, where does the truth even matter anymore? You think, they certainly don't care about it. So I don't know. But again, my condolences to Charlie Kirk's family, and it's terrible. And I don't want to reiterate again. I do not condone it. It's not helpful. And like I said, I don't believe in a civil war. I mean, if that's going to happen, I guess every person for themselves. But I think that we should start talking about secession for real, peacefully. Hey, this ain't working. It's like getting a divorce, Like, I don't want to leave my wife, but man, I'm so fucking miserable. I can't take it anymore. It's like, you're like, I don't want to fight about this. It's like, can we just amicably separate? and watch them turn into a third world shithole. Because that's what'll happen. They think they're like the kid who he thinks he can take care of himself, but he can't. You know, it's like a teenager. He's giving you a bunch of grief and shit. You know, it's like he thinks that he knows everything. He can run the world. You know, and you're like, all right, then go ahead. He fails miserably because he's 15. You know, whatever. It's like that's what they are. Only when they start to fail and they go, hey, we made a mistake. Can we get back to him? We go, nope. Enjoy. So you think it's going to trade with this shit? You think other countries would trade with them? I mean, I'm sure some would, but most of the countries would be like, fuck that. If I could just trade with the cool people, like, it's like, they're not going to have anything. You put up all the Confederate statues back up, you know. All the things that they would want to do. Like that Pete Hegseth could be the general of the Confederate Army, or whatever they call themselves. I don't know what they call themselves. They probably would just bring back the Confederacy. Confederate States 2.0. Because that's how much imagination they have. And the rest of the world will move on without them. In my opinion. They'd be stuck trading with the other, you know, piece of shit dictator countries. That's like be the only ones who'll talk to them. The only thing is how we're going to divvy up these nukes. That's like that's the real sticking point. Is how we're going to divide up the nukes and the, you know, all the military hardware we have. Because we can't just like not give them any of that. They got. I don't know. We're in a dark place, and like I said, the violence is not helpful. But I just say the limbo is killing me. It's like we need to make a decision what we're doing, because to live like this will drive you insane. You know, like Julia was saying, you know, when every day you're looking, it's like constantly escalating rhetoric, you know, all around you, and it's like, dude, sooner or later something, and people are getting shot, you know, it's like sooner or later this shit's gonna pop off for real, you know, and it's when you're like, I gotta start carrying a gun. It'd be nothing worse than, I mean, it is true. It'd be nothing worse than you be somewhere and like a bunch of shit starts happening and you're like, I got guns, but they're at my fucking house. And you're just out there with no guns. It's like, well, what's the point of having a gun if you don't have it? That's the fallacy of the gun. Because now you have it, now you have to have it. It's like when I didn't have one at all, I didn't think about it. Although I would have already been thinking about it, because I asked my friend at work today, I was like, hey man, you got a gun? Because he likes knives. He's got a lot of knives. Yeah, he was like, yeah, I have a gun. You know, I'm like, you got a gun? He's like, no. I was like, man, you really should probably think about getting one. Now I'm a gun advocate all of a sudden. And not because I want to, like I said, I don't want there to be a war. But if a war starts popping off and you don't have anything, you're fucked. It's one of those things, like, rather have it, not need it, than need it and not have it, especially in that situation. And a bunch of angry fucking fascists trying to kill you, you know. And I live in a weird place. I said, there's a lot of us around, but we're surrounded by them. So, you know, if it did pop off, we have to form like enclaves. And it's like, like, where's the rainbow flag? We're over there. All right, go over there. Everybody gather up in that house. It's like, and I don't want that to happen. I said, I'd rather have a peaceful secession than a civil war, for sure. It's the best thing. I wish that people would just fucking, for once, tone it down and talk to each other. But that's not going to happen. I've been trying to talk to people for a decade. And the MAGA people, the fascists, they ain't wanted to talk to anybody for the whole time. I used to try to convince myself that you could reach them, and I tried, but I don't even try anymore. I just tell them to fuck off because I reached my limit of trying to reach them because you can't. When they start with the helicopter memes and shit, it's like I'm telling you that get up against the wall. Some guy today told me that he was another anonymous jerk off was like I'll be standing on the other side of the fence watching them push you into a train car or something like that. And I was like, well, at least you were honest enough to admit that you were too cowardly to be the guy that was trying to push me into a train car. You're going to stand up on the hill behind the fence because you're a fucking coward. Like I said, most of them are cowards. That's what I mean. They talk a lot of shit. And they got a lot of guns. They think that they're going to run over liberals. But really the truth is, a lot of them are cowards. They're the bullies. And the bullies are always, when you actually confront the bully, usually they back down because they're cowards. And that's what the MAGA people are. They're big and loud, and they think they act tough. And they're not tough. Like Mark Wayne Mullen, They said Mark Wayne Mullen, I said that the other day, they said Mark Wayne Mullen used to be a UFC fighter. And you're like, well, why is he such a fucking pussy? It's like, on January 6th, there's pictures of him running like a little girl. And then he was on Fox News like, I'm so scared of Washington, D.C. I don't even put my seatbelt on because I want to be able to jump out of my car at any time if there's a carjack or whatever. And you're like, dude, if you was a cage fighter, why are you so fucking scared of everything? It's like, because they're cowards. I bet his career didn't last very long as a cage fighter. He's probably one of them guys, he thought he wanted to be a cage fighter until he had one or two matches, and then he was like, damn, this is fun. These guys are for real. It's like, oh, I got me another fucking Twitch bot. Tritoad. It's a cheap viewers on streamboo.com. Like, every now and then. I'm gonna get out of here. Again, I don't condone violence. My condolences to Charlie Kirk and his family. But we really need to step back and think about how we got here and what we can do to get out of it. And if secession is the answer, then that's the answer for me. Because I do not want us to be killing each other in the streets. So, with that being said, I'll be back on Saturday at 6 o'clock. Hopefully Daniele will be here. I can't promise that, but hopefully he will. And thank you, Dan, for tuning in. And Julia, as always, I love you guys. And I'll see you on Saturday.